I'm from Fenders Fish Hatchery here in Ohio, and I want to talk about a couple products here that we sell in this video. Optimal bluegill feed. We sell optimal feeds because of the quality and the connection I have with the company. I can talk to the people that own the company and talk to them about the way the feed's made, the size of the feed, the protein, and all that kind of stuff. So I have input in what I sell. That's what I like about Optimal, and also the fact they sell very good feed. I often tell people they can buy a good feed or they can buy a cheap feed. They're not going to buy a good cheap feed. You want a feed that's the size that the fish can eat, and you also want a feed that has a high protein that makes lots of fish meat, not lots of fish manure. I also want to talk to you about the fish feeder we sell here. We sell a feeder called from Texas Hunter, and this is a fish feeder. It can be also used for deer feeder, thing like that. It's a directional feeder. It shoots the feed straight out. I've sold cheap feeders, and I quit selling those, and I sell Texas Hunter. Texas Hunter is not necessarily the cheapest feeder on the market. It is an expensive feeder, but it's the best. It works, they last. This particular model we've had sitting here as a demonstrator now for about 4 years. I set it up 4 years ago, and I changed the timing as far as in the settings as far as what I need to be fed, and then come fall, I let the thing cycle out and clean out, and I'll let it cycle throughout the whole course of the winter. I believe this helps to keep the battery charged up because it does have a solar panel on here that helps keep the battery charged up, and it has a rechargeable battery. So the worst thing you can do to a battery is let it sit over the winter and not be on a charger and drain down. It kills batteries very quickly. By having this thing on a solar panel all winter long, even though there's no feed in it, it's still cycling, keeps everything free and loose and moving, and keeps the battery charged up and makes them last longer. So the way these feeders work, we have a lid that takes off. You got good heavy steel snaps there. I have this is a 40-pound bag of feed that I have here. It weighs 40 pounds. I didn't dump the whole thing in, but I could dump that in plus another bag. There's a sight glass, if you can see it there, that tells you how much feed's in it. I just didn't really even fill it halfway full yet. So you can see where the feed's at. The reason I didn't dump this clear full is because I can check this thing every few days. If you're gonna, I would suggest that when a customer uses these, they set them up, they feed them, or fill the feed with feed according to how often they're going to be around. If they're going to be there once a week, check it and fill it once a week. If you're going to be gone for 2 weeks, then fill it accordingly. I don't like to fill them any fuller than I have to because if something would happen, you get any insects in there, get to laying eggs and messing the feed up, or if somebody comes along and unsnaps the lid and you get moisture in it, then you got a bunch of bad feed you got to clean out. So I fill them according to how long I think they're going to need to be between fillings. Now, snap the lid down good. All right, that locks it up. There's no way water can get in it. These also come with two different types of legs. What we see here right now is an adjustable leg. These are made with a wide stance. They have stakes. They go in them. This stake will help to hold it in place. And being a wide stance like this, it's more stable. They're adjustable, so you can sit whatever height you want. The other option we have is a dock leg. The legs go straight down, and they're made to where you can put them on a dock. They're straight legs. You don't have to worry about catching your foot and tripping on them, and they're very stable. So if you want to put them on a dock like that. The way these things are set up to run a feeder, they have a controller here that has 8 different settings on it. You can set the settings for up to about a minute, so you can feed up to 8 times a day. I suggest setting it up to feed, if you want to really grow fish, set up for feeding in the morning and one in the evening. That's the most likely times the fish are going to feed the best. Now, if you got fish that are feeding very actively and you want to really push them, then you can bump the thing up and feed it more times you want to. So when you first start setting one of these feeders up, I suggest setting it up to where you just set it for about 1 second or 2 seconds at the most. Let it run for like that for about a week. Come down, they have a push to test button where you can kick the thing on. Kick it on, let it cycle through for that 2 seconds, see if there's feed left over. If the fish are still hungry, bump it up a little bit. You got to keep changing it because as new fish learn to eat, they're going to use more feed. As the fish are in there already eating, get bigger, they're going to eat more feed also. So you're going to have to keep changing it over the course of the summer. Then in the front of the unit, the way it's set up is there's a spinner wheel in the very front and a slot that's so big. We'll show that on the video also. The first stage is that spinner wheel gets to spinning. The second stage is there's a feeder wheel underneath the hopper that starts to spin, drops feed down into that spinner wheel. And when that feed hits, it slings it out in and shoots the feed out in there from about 3 feet from the edge of the feeder clear out to about 20 feet, 25 feet. It shotguns it out. We'll see if we can't kick one on here. So hit menu. You bring that around until you keep hitting that until you come up to test. And test run, and you hit select. And then you go to set, and then you set for how many seconds you want it to run. I set it for 2 seconds. Then you hit menu again, and it comes up, stand back, and it'll count down from 10 seconds to when it kicks on. Now there it goes. Now if you watch, you'll see it's spraying the feed way out there. It's more like 25 to 30 feet out there, and that's just for a 2-second feeding. And now in a few minutes the fish will come up and they'll start to eat, and they'll clean that up. Like I say, you want to keep adjusting it as you run this thing over the course of the summer until you figure out how much fish you're going to eat. So when check out these feeders, you can call Fenders Fish Hatchery here, and you'll see a number at the bottom of the screen there. And the current pricing is $875. That includes everything you see, solar panel, battery, everything ready to go. It's picked up here at the farm. All right, this little screen has your menu, and this is the way you select. You can push once, twice. That shows that the battery is charging. The next one you hit tells you what time of the day it is. Then you hit it again, and it has feeding sets. You hit each feeding, you can set the time, how long you want to feed. So you've got 9 different settings, and it has a test run that you can set it up. You hit select, gives you the time, and you hit set for however many seconds you want to run, and you hit menu again, and then it says push key to stop, and it comes right over here to stand back, and it does a countdown to until it's ready to start, so you can step back away from it, and it's counting down. Now the spinner wheel starts, and now the next stage is it starts dropping feed down into it. And it cycles through and it's done. That way you can check to see how much the fish are feeding and how long you should have it set for. And then this snaps back shut. They also have a place where you can put a lock on this to keep that secure. And they also have places where you can lock them up here too on both sides, so you can keep vandals out and wildlife and such as this. These guys are definitely coon proof. You don't have to worry about coon getting into them and tearing them up. Your plastic cheap feeders, I've seen them where the coon will be able to reach up, crawl up the legs, and they'll literally destroy those feeders to get to that feed. They'll chew up the mechanisms on the outside. These things are indestructible. Anything less than a bear, they're not going to be able to tear this thing up. It's going to last for a lot of years, and they are rebuildable. If you ever have any parts go bad, you can get parts from Texas 100 and you do repairs on them.